It's a new beginning for all of us in terms of design, technology. You would experience it today, what we have done, what our engineers, designers have done to this car. I think you'll like. Truly fantastic.
The launch of any new car or the advent of any new brand is something which we here at Zeegnition live for. And it's important that on a momentous occasion for a homegrown car maker to launch an all-new car with all new mechanical aggregates, spelling out also a completely new design language, is really a moment to celebrate. Look behind me, it's the new zippy car, abbreviated to Zika from Tata Motors, and that's what we are looking at today. Zika speaks an all-new design language for Tata Motors. Of course, from certain angles, you might feel that it's inspired by other contemporary design, but that's no bad thing, because overall, it has moved away from the mold of the Indica, especially more so as regards the bolt. This is a fresh, new, much more contemporary approach. The entire play of light and shade, thanks to the concave surfacing, the crease lines running from front to the rear, especially also the rake of the A-pillar, indicates a form which is so very pleasing. It may not be utterly striking, but it's very pleasing. In fact, even the front grille, the new face, it's still a smiley face, but it's not Indica, it's something new, it's Zika. Overall, the car sits very, very well planted. It's got taut surfacing. Even the wheels, the 14-inch wheels are a step in the right direction. They fill up the wheel wells very well. And they are just about flush with the bodywork. Just think about a Mercedes-Benz and a BMW, and you'll see the BMW wheel haunches absolutely close to the sheet metal. The designers have tried to make this somewhere close with that philosophy, and by and large, the amount of glass area, in fact, even the dainty spoiler at the rear, everything has a purpose which gives it the form which you see it to be. Very pleasing. Let's look at this car from a position in the Indian small car market, and that's where I feel she places herself in a very, very good, phenomenally pleasing manner. But why are we just taking our word for it? Let's go across to Pratap Bose and let him share with us some of his design philosophy behind the exterior and the entire proportions and the stance of the car.
It's a very strong looking car. It's emotional, it's dynamic. It's got a very strong front face dominated by our grille and the humanity line, and two really high-tech front lamps. On the side, when you go, you see a very, very nice sculptural theme through the car, which gives it elements of light and shade, and also the very, very unique window shape. At the rear, you have these petal-shaped tail lamps, which are very, very attractive and will stand out in all this crowded car market that we see. On the interior, there are some fantastic little details that we've brought into the car for the first time in India, and definitely in this segment. Elements of color in the AC vents, a very, very attractive and beautiful looking dashboard, the door trims, and of course the seats. The seats are a very integral part of this car because it's a car which you should enjoy driving. We also have filled the car with some details, some very intelligent details, bottle holders, there's little hooks to carry your daily shopping, and small touches like that which I think will really appeal to the customer.
It's a whole new world out there in the cabin of the Zika. It is completely fresh, new approach to the mini car game, and it breaks phenomenally exciting ground as far as the driving position is concerned. There are no blind spots. Even the A-pillar doesn't what we call impinge on forward visibility. You sit very well, the driver adjustable seat, and the quality of the materials, even the grainy finish on the dashboard, the feel over there on the pedals, on the steering wheel, on the gear shift, everything has been so very well thought out to give the driving experience to be a notch higher than many other small mini cars in the country. Very sporty also in a few respects, especially in the way the meters come out at you, angled straight in your face, the small 360 diameter steering wheel, very, very sporty and just par for the course for a car like this. But how does she really perform on our roads? The ride quality is of a phenomenal order for a small car in India. As far as the handling is concerned, everything is perfect. But at very low speeds, the steering feel is lackluster, almost lifeless. But as she builds up speed, the car gets up more weightage and the steering feel and pleasure is heightened in the right measure. It's not overly quick, it's not overly slow. It's just ideal for our traffic conditions. Okay, let's get back to the engine and the transmission. Taking the diesel first because that's a Tata strong point. This diesel is absolutely contemporary. 3 cylinders, double overhead cam. They have eliminated NVH or the primary vibrations at source by a lot of new means, and most important of them all is the fitment of a balancer shaft which cuts off or cancels the vibes at the very source to a great extent. Then you take the hydro mounts which further go on to destroy whatever else is remaining, and plus the rigid structure lends itself greatly to having next to no vibrations. There is a lot of diesel clutter when starting from cold, but once she is warmed up, this engine behaves in a ultra refined manner. But the petrol is the epitome of refined brilliance. It is super smooth, it has got just everything in it, it is virtually shatterproof in its way it performs, and for Tata Motors to have come up with a gem of a motor which sips petrol as its main ingredient, you have to drive this car to really appreciate and revel in. Single point about both these engines is that the transmissions they are mated to have been given the once over. They are the familiar transmissions which we have seen earlier in the Zest and the Bolt, but a lot of their actuation details, the way with which the clutch pedal pressure, it's so very effortless and really delight when you have to do the daily commute in chock-a-block bumper-to-bumper traffic. People in this category who buy a car don't need technical jargon, but they need to feel what's good about the whole driving experience. And of course, you'd always want to take the long way back home when you're there in a car like this on the daily commute. Have you ever thought about it that in the last 2 years, you have got a slew of models in the Tata Motors portfolio, and along with the new Zika in both petrol and diesel, you now have the makings of probably the youngest model portfolio amongst car makers in the country today. And this is what will determine the fortunes of the company going forward, because the platform on which this car is built, brand new, also lends itself to a lot of body variants which we can expect in the coming years. Maybe a compact SUV, flavor of the moment especially. How about an MPV? And if you have to really think very, very loud and really very far-fetched, how about a small roadster? Think about it, because Tata Motors' ambitions should not only be limited to India. This car is being capable of taking it to the world.